definite turning point was breaking my ankle, and I had to get an operation and got a plate put in.
You know, when we heard he broke his ankle and how bad it was devastating. It was just the way skating is too, you know. You cannot take it for granted.
You have a hard injury like that, and getting older, it's hard to rebound.
I was up for like a few months, like, not skating, and at that time I bought a computer. It was a Mac 2 FX, top of the line, with a color monitor, a scanner, and a printer. And the whole thing was like 20 grand. And I just sat around drinking coffee and learning how to use it.
With a new creative outlet, Nadas found himself redirecting his energy from skateboarding to design work. He sought opportunities to test his ideas and was soon invited to work on a new magazine being launched by World Industries.
Nadas worked on the very first Big Brother. The first thing we worked on together was this Adam McNatt piece, and it was just this really sort of arty photo essay, and he laid the whole thing out. It was really great. He had these great sketchbooks. You know, we would sometimes just scan those in for backgrounds. I don't know, he's constantly doing art.
His hands-on experience with 101 and Big Brother was an education in itself. But Nadas's life and art began much earlier. Growing up in an artistic and eclectic community, his parents filled the house inside and out with sculpture, photography, and paintings. He was also influenced by local Santa Monica artists Wes Humpston and Kevin Ansell.
You know, he would want to draw, so we would help him draw. We'd show him stuff. And
he used to love to come over to my garage where I used to live behind my folks' house. I used to do like stuff on boards for people.
Of course, it had all the great skulls and crosses and lightning bolts and wings. So that was great. Yeah, as a kid, I was fascinated by it.
Wesley was the original Dogtown skateboard guy, and he kind of passed it on to me. And then I kind of passed it on to Nadas.
But Nadas's influences weren't confined to the borders of Dogtown. With an early foundation in art and a keen interest in learning, he began to investigate other aspects of design.
Nadas asked real questions and tried to learn and absorb things.
Mofo was the first to tell me what art direction was. He used to work on the ads for Santa Monica Airlines. And so I really got an understanding of, as he was molding my image, basically, and the company's image, it got me really thinking, this is how everyone sees us because of him. And so I was like, okay, art direction.
As his workload increased at World Industries, he slowly drifted away from 101 as Rocco's company became less fun and more corporate.
What started as more of a friendship thing and he was looking out for me became more of a business. It was just number crunching, kind of crunched it right out.
While he still worked within the confines of World Industries, Nadas felt the need to test himself in the real world outside of skateboarding. His way out came in the form of a phone call from the offices of Larry Flint Publications.
They scouted him out. They saw the layouts in Blunt, and they needed an art director for a new porn mag they were doing. It was called Rage. They had all these ideas about Rage, where it was going to be sort of more like Playboy. You know, it wasn't going to be so sleazy. But right away, Larry Flint gave up on the idea of it being this artfully done, tasteful porn magazine. So he just wanted it to be all raw with like girls like, yeah. So all of a sudden, Nadas is laying out this like gnarly hardcore porn. I don't think he liked that too much. I don't know. I thought it was funny.
After his experience art directing magazines, in 1998, Nadas returned to the skateboard industry and helped to establish the short-lived Vita Shoes, a company that was co-founded by longtime friend Mark Oblo.
He just basically created our images with the logos and with the ads, and I think our ads were at that time a lot different than anyone else's ads. They were just sketchy handwriting and taped on type things, and he basically put it all together, and so that was all him.
Soon after Vita, Nadas was doing design work for Quicksilver and Element, companies that also tapped into his iconic status by putting him on their skateboard teams.
Nadas could draw, Nadas could paint, Nadas could take photos. And I guess that's kind of when I saw him putting it all together. And I mean, he took over and he made a major influence on probably the biggest company in our industry.
He's really added something to the brand and the influence that he's had on product and loosening things up and just his energy and the way he is. I'm really excited just from here on out to see what comes.
In 2001, Quicksilver promoted Nadas to the position of creative director alongside graphics guru David Carson.
To start the full circle that just happened, he laid out a cover of me in Transworld. He's got an amazing talent, a really good teacher, and now I get to work with him.
Despite his many responsibilities, Natas still finds time to work on a project he helped found in the year 2000. Since our very first issue, he's been the hand behind On's signature script and illustration style. Currently focusing on his art and design work, Natas is fully healed and still skates and surfs for the pure joy of it.
Just Natas, he's all of our best friends, and it was just like the weirdest evolution of watching somebody who had so much natural talent, like in the water, as an artist, and on a skateboard. He was just so fluid and knew how to move.
Despite the occasional tour and demo, he manages to avoid the pressures associated with a pro career. Recognizing all his contributions to skateboarding, in 1998, Element released the Natas Kopis Pro model, and Etnies is also set to re-release his original pro shoe in 2003.
And I made it clear, Natas, you will have a board on Element. As long as you exist, you don't have to step on a skateboard ever again, because that's not the point. The point is that you stepped on one a long time ago, and when you did, it changed the sport, the industry, forever.
He was the pioneers, the godfathers of street skating that started it all and made it possible.
He didn't really follow what was the trend or what was cool. He kind of just marched to the beat of his own drum.
He has a reason for doing the things he does, and then people copy what he does.
He's just got the same thing like Gons. He's just got it. He doesn't have to really do anything but just roll on his board, and you're like, he's got it.
In the end, magazines and videos, they'll be forgotten, but it's the true heroes and icons and legends like Natas and Gons that are going to endure. Those guys' names will go on forever.